Hey, everybody. How are you? Say hey, Jeanette.
Hey, how's everything?
Okay, so you have hit it. It's Friday. It's having fun with J&J, and you have arrived. So
Yes.
we hope you're seeing us. We're trying something new.
Did you see the new music change? Was that you? Did you change the music of the
I'm
countdown?
going to ask you because the music is different.
I thought it was you. I was like saying, wow,
It's
that's different.
me.
It's nice. Okay.
I like it.
I
I
like
like
it.
it. So, see, we even surprised ourselves with stuff we didn't even do. It's
We
a
didn't-
miracle. You all really miss stuff from behind the scenes because we look like we don't know what we're doing, but we actually don't really. It's not really.
Oh, that's funny.
We just show up and have fun. And today we have a very special guest, very different. I'm not going to say different, but she's very different. She sews. She's immersing herself into another language, and she's got some very interesting stuff that she creates, and we are very excited to have Lauren Mackey with us today. I'm going to let Jeanette's going to go ahead and introduce her a little bit more, ask a question, but I'm going to let her talk because you know what? I will just totally brutalize everything. I'm like, I I will so like not say the words right. So Lauren's going to say it for us. So that y'all can get the full flavor of it. But we're very excited. She's the first guest for our new, I don't even know what to call it. It's like we have a new platform coming up. Our channel is going to be bigger and better. And this is our first live.
A lot more views.
Yes.
Way more views.
So yes. So we're gonna celebrate with her. And Jeanette, go ahead and take her away, girl.
Yes, thank you, and welcome to Having Fun with J&J. I love our Fridays. I'm gonna tell you, I look forward to them. With me is Lauren. We met on a platform, and I fell in love with her work. And I had said to Jenny. Well, Jenny finds out at the end. She actually never finds out until Thursdays, and she goes, "Oh, this is cool," And so Lauren, I'm so happy to have you here with us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and just showing us your beautiful work. Go ahead and tell us like what you do and then how you first started. Like when did this all happen?
All right. So first things first, I'm going to introduce in Korean. 안녕하세요. 저는 로렌이세요. 저는 미국 사람이에요. 저는 한국을 만들어요. 밖에 오세요. So what I said basically was, hello, my name is Lauren. I am American. I make hanboks, and please come to my shop.
Wow.
I love that.
I was like, now I know how you feel, Jenny, when I speak Spanish, because I didn't understand it.
I know. I only speak I can speak food and language. That's tea.
No.
Now, and I know tacos, but I don't speak.
I know konnichiwa. That's all I know. Did I say that right? Oh, konnichiwa.
So konnichiwa is Japanese. So that's out of my area.
Wrong. Look at that. I even got the wrong race there.
You look at you. You're in the wrong country.
I am. Okay.
So keep going because this is.
Yeah, I want to know.
It's so different. We've had a lot of different people from different countries speak different languages, but I don't think we've had a Korean language.
Definitely, please tell us how all this started. Like, when did you get into that? Like, tell us the history.
All right. So the name of my business is The Flower Realm by Saguk Paradise. Saguk means historical drama. So it's in reference to the historical Korean dramas that you'll see on TV that are really just epic level. So think of like the 10 Commandments, but like Korean style, like just real epic, just real detailed costumes. Even think of like The King and I. You just have real detailed costumes, really good language, a lot of literature being shown on there, a real close following of history. And so I named it Sagic Paradise in reference to the historical dramas. I got into the Korean wave because my daughter was listening to K-pop back in 2018, and she got me into BTS, which that stands for Bangtan Sonyeondan, and they're a boy band. They're very popular globally, but still not everyone has heard of them. And they're kind of like the gateway into the Korean wave, basically. And she got me into them, and then I kind of wanted to know the cultural background where all this was coming from, because the only Korea I was really familiar with was North Korea, and that didn't sound too good. So I wanted to know a little bit more about South, and I kind of fell into a rabbit hole. And from that rabbit hole, I also got into Chinese culture, because a lot of Korean culture is heavily influenced by China, because China had such control over most of East Asia that I felt in order to fully appreciate it, I needed to understand China as well. And that's why I also changed my name to the Flower Realm, so I could include some Chinese-inspired creations too. So people wouldn't be like, oh, you're including Chinese stuff on a business with a Korean name. With the Flower Realm, it's a little more inclusive of everyone.
So is anime, because my granddaughter loves anime.
Yeah.
And so is that, I'm looking, I'm going to bring up your website, everybody, because it's very pretty. And you can see the illustrations are very, very anime.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love our very, very historical part of this, because it's Korea and China, all the Asian countries have like years and years and years of history on us. Like we're babes in the woods compared to their history. Am I correct?
That is correct. Both China and Korea claim to have 5,000 years worth of history. China has more solid documentation of 5,000 years worth of history. Korea, it's a little more controversial, but since I'm not actually Korean, I just decide to accept that they have 5,000 years worth of history too, because they didn't just come out of nowhere.
Right.
They may not have had the same development as China did 5,000 years ago, but they were clearly still there. They just weren't noticeable yet until about the 1st century AD. That's when they became a little bit more noticeable.
Now, what made you actually want to start a business? Let me show you the shop. What did you start with? The clothing?
So what I started with was the fan art, which actually isn't my art. What I do is I work with a team of artists from Indonesia. Beautiful. And I give them different ideas from different shows that I like, and then they draw the pictures for me. And I started with the fan art first.
I have a question.
So that is
wait, do each of these have a meaning for any particular, like weddings, things like that? Do they have anything in particular, like one of the outfits, do they each have a meaning?
Some of them do. My stuff is more contemporary, but you do have more traditional items, such as in this book, where I'll show you what a wedding hanbok looks like. And the wedding hanbok often looked like what royalty would wear, because it was kind of like the opportunity for people who weren't royal to be able to wear something so nice on their special day.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's generally a queen's hanbok, but the one time of the year, like when a woman got married, she could wear something very similar. And then, of course, there's many variants across the different regions, like North Korea. Like in North Korea, they had more of a flower crown and so on and so forth, but they got to wear something real neat like that.
Lauren, where on your website, on one of these, which ones do I click on?
Anyone you want.
Okay, so I'm going to do the mini prints. No, that wasn't anything on there. There was one that had the, is that the posters?
Try the posters. I have a little bit more up there, because I had to do a little bit of a purge and just take a few things out, because it was a little bit of a choice overload. But I have most on my posters.
I love her.
You draw these by hand?
I don't draw them. I team up with some artists from Indonesia who draw them for me.
Okay, and you asked for a particular style or something like that?
Yeah, I like the anime style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anime
Yeah.
is what my granddaughter they have a whole thing on it now. The little girls love it. But you do your clothing from the drawings, right? And from historical.
So the clothing, it is inspired by history, but I make them just myself. They're just kind of inspired by whatever like. For instance, since my budget was lower this year, I like going to the thrift store, and I like to find, because you can find some really awesome curtains,
Mm-hmm.
really cool
Mm-hmm.
designs. And I like
Yep.
to buy up all the curtains, take them home, rip them up with my seam ripper, and make them into clothes. Like both
That
of
sounds
these.
familiar. Wait a minute.
That's awesome.
Didn't you say take out the curtains and wear the curtain? Did you say that, Jenny, the other day?
Well, it was from Gone with the Wind as well.
Yeah, that was it. The guy.
There was this kid. So is
Can
that?
we make her bigger? Can we make her
Yeah,
bigger?
I'm gonna make her bigger here.
It's like this is made from a curtain. Like this right here is made from a broken down curtain. And so is this.
There you go.
Which you can't see very well, but like this is also made from a broken down curtain.
Those are beautiful.
I cannot.
Those are beautiful.
And curtains are the best to find at the thrift store because you find them in really good quality fabrics and they have really nice embroidered designs on them.
Because they have the florals and things. Now,
yeah.
Sometimes, like in a lot of the Japanese clothing is made out of silk. Does Korea use the silk as well?
They do. But there are also a lot of people that will sell the silk polyester blend or polyester because silk breaks down very easily.
Right.
Regardless of whether it's dry cleaned. And of course, you never want to put silk in the washer, but like.
No, I did that. Oh, it's not good.
It just breaks down easily over time. So I've looked at other websites that have advised whether you should buy a silk or a polyester hanbok. And some have said if you want it to last, buy polyester because after a while because silk is so natural, it will break down over time.
I like that red and white one over there. Can you tell us more about that one?
The red skirt, is that gorgeous?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
So what's the bottom made out of? What fabric?
And no worries, I made sure to thoroughly wash it before I broke it down. The bottom is made from a bed sheet that I got from the thrift store.
That's awesome.
And it is it's polyester, but it feels really soft. It feels almost like suede cloth soft.
Oh, okay. And the top?
And the top is made from a curtain that I broke down, and it is polyester.
Okay. That is
how does the Korean community like this? Do they purchase it and think that it's very cool? Or have you had a pushback from that? Or
about all of my reception has been good, especially in Hawaii, which has a very strong Korean population, especially in Hawaii and LA. A lot of people really like my clothes. I couldn't go anywhere in Honolulu without someone stopping to talk to me.
Really?
They were very excited about my clothes because you don't see something like this every day.
No.
And I had a bunch of different people, Korean, Japanese, Filipino, all tell me while I was in Hawaii that I should start a business because before it was just the art and I wouldn't have dared. But they were very insistent that I get a business started.
So that's how you started with making them the clothes. So So when you go to Hawaii and think that was just a vacation or was it business?
It was a vacation. It was to see my daughter because she was a student at Hawaii Pacific University.
Oh, okay. So you went over there and I guess they recognized you from the website and things like that. You get pushed over there a lot. So how has it been for your business here? What state are you in now?
I'm in New Mexico.
You're in New Mexico. So in New Mexico, you're okay over there or how is it?
Luckily, it helps that I take Korean classes from the Good News Church. It's a multicultural church, but it's of Korean origin. It comes from South Korea. They're all over the world, and I take classes from them, and that does help give me a lot of backing. And I've learned from being with them not to be so aggressive in my marketing, because just focusing on the Good News Church alone, they help push me forward. They actually have me do presentations on Humbux. The minister, Ivan Ju, his Korean name is Ju Jong-hoon. He actually had no problem telling people before my presentation, she knows more about these than I do.
That's nice when you get a backing like that. So, your customers are based women more or men more?
For the clothing, definitely women. For the anime, it's definitely men.
Huh. So you got a little bit of both worlds. Okay.
Yeah.
That is cool beans. So where do you want to go with your business? Like, what is it that you want people to know about your business? What's the most important thing you want them to know?
I want them to, and I know this sounds, I don't know, it doesn't sound weird per se, it just sounds kind of nerdy. I want them to be more interested in learning about both Korean and Chinese history, because especially Chinese, it's often very misunderstood. And I think it's important for people to appreciate the clothes and the artwork, but also be inspired to learn a little bit more, because it'll expand your outlook a lot more. It'll expand, if you want to, it'll expand your linguistic abilities a bit more. It'll just make things in life a lot more interesting and help you understand some of your neighbors who might seem a little bit unapproachable. You now understand where they might be coming from, or why things might be.
I like that. I mean, the last couple of years, there's been a thing about, taking other people's appropriating another culture or whatever. Yeah. But to me, it's very, like, I used to love wearing Japanese little shirts. They're so cute, and I used to wear them with little slacks, and I like the little collars. And I'm looking at the tops, like the wraparound. They're so comfortable. Actually, if you're a nursing mother, they would probably be great because they provide cover, and it's almost like a bed jacket. But I like learning about other people's cultures and their history and the clothing. It's all kind of tied in with Hawaii and Japan and the whole eastern part of the world. And I don't think we get a lot of that because there's somehow, it's a tough history in some aspects, but there's some very beautiful things that have come out of that. So it's very cool that they're very supportive of you.
Yeah.
It always surprises my husband because he's Navajo, and Navajos do have
wow, your culture diversified. That's what I'm saying. Your husband's Navajo?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love you already. Just everything going, all these cultures. That's a big. What did your husband say?
He was very afraid at first because his culture does have strong feelings about outsiders sampling. And he was surprised as hell when I was in Honolulu and all these Koreans kept approaching me about my clothes because I was in full hanbok in Honolulu, Hawaii, which wasn't that.
How did they know you? So you actually dressed in what you made all the time.
They didn't know me from the website or anything. They just saw me in my clothes, and they loved my clothes. So everywhere I went, I had a variety of different Koreans stopping me. Immigrants, study abroad students, people who've been there a few generations, were just really excited to see someone wearing their clothes and appreciating their clothes and understanding how their clothes work.
You got a lot of selfies, didn't you? Because I could imagine. Can I take a picture with you? I could imagine they asked you to take pictures.
But you know what's so funny? There was a guy that was traveling in China, and he went to order food, and they thought he was, could not speak Chinese, and so he started to order in Chinese. And actually, Asian cultures are very happy when it's not like kind of like the French, like they're always like saying we don't pronounce words right. But it seems that the Asian cultures really appreciate when you try to speak their language. And once he started conversing to them like he could go to the menu and say, I want this, this, and this, and he'd ask a question. And all the people, the customers were like, really? Here's this like tall Caucasian American speaking, excellent Mandarin. And they were like very happy. They were very,
So I can't imagine them looking at her in the humbuck and she's like, what? And what did your husband say? I know he was surprised, right?
He was terrified. He was afraid that what I was doing was cultural appropriation and that I would probably get my butt kicked at some point. That people would yell at me.
That's bad.
And I admit the first 3 years I was wearing this, I was very nervous about wearing it in public, but I did every day. And I got mostly positive responses. The people who are more inclined to give me a hard time are actually older white women who are desperate to prove that they are progressive. Those are the ones who give me a hard time.
See, that's interesting.
That's something.
That's interesting.
Oh my
You know what? I like this because you're walking the walk. You're not just selling a product. You're actually seeking to understand the actual product itself, where it comes from in its history. And that's a very cool. You're like a walking billboard.
Well, thank you. I even remember. I remember one time I was setting up my booth next to a Lakota woman, because Lakota people or Sioux people tend to be very very territorial about culture as well. And I remember thinking she's going to give me a hard time. And I don't remember what I said to her, but she says, "Don't worry. I can tell from how you make these that you're very sincere about what you do." And I'm like, okay, good. Because I thought she was going to just give me a hard time the entire time. Like she was going to be giving me the death stare or whatever the whole 2 hours I was there. But we were just fine.
Okay, it must be scary, but it seems to be like light is on your side, to help you get this done. So God is good with you. You're getting a lot of favor to be able to show what you have a passion for.
Yeah.
Does your husband, being Navajo, does he ever do anything in his culture?
He does. Like a lot of this artwork back here on the door. These are all his.
Oh, wow.
Because Jim Thorpe was an American Indian. Yeah. Very cool.
Wow.
I think it's, we lost it somewhere in translation, where people appreciated other cultures and brought it into their lives. And growing up in Southern California, we all wore turquoise jewelry.
Yeah.
Like my favorite shoes, I'm sorry, are moccasins. And my kids, it makes them crazy because I love them. I can't go barefoot everywhere, but if I pull a pair of jeans on, I'd rather wear my moccasins. They're comfortable. They feel like I'm walking barefoot, but I'm not. And my kids gave me a hard time. They're like, "Mom, you can't wear those." I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Well, and I'm like, "Okay." And so every time they go through Arizona, I'm like, "Can you stop and give me a pair of moccasins?" So, I find them more comfortable than, I don't like tennis shoes. I don't like wearing like sneakers, that kind of thing.
My mother, when I was young, we lived in New York City. New York City, if everybody knows, New York City is a melting pot of all cultures. I mean, everybody is. So we used to go to Chinatown and eat food, and she would always buy me the Chinese slippers. And I loved them. The black one with the little thing. I loved the same reason. I felt like he wasn't wearing anything. They were comfortable. I would wear them to school, wear the heck out of them, until they had holes in them. And then she would go buy me another pair. But I love those Chinese shoes. I love them. They're so freaking comfortable. And then I found out the proper way to wear them. So I'm like, okay.
Does the Korean culture have those shoes? Do you sell those? Or
I don't sell the shoes, but I have a pair, which of course are in my other room. And I think because I'm a plus size. It might not be obvious right here, but I'm a bit big. And I can't wear those shoes for too long because the heels aren't as strong. I got them off of eBay, so that right there probably says they weren't, like the highest caliber. So the heels they're not very sturdy. So I just have to super glue them on after every few months. So I'm probably going to have to go to Korea myself and get the damn shoes.
Have you been to Korea?
Been able to go to
not. But the Good News Church, or they have a youth group called the International Youth Fellowship, and every summer they do actually have basically a free trip to Korea. You do have to pay your own airfare, but they provide the other expenses like food and whatnot. And you have to do a week of their World Camp, which is a multicultural Bible camp, and they focus a lot on mental health. And then the next week, that's when you get to tour Korea all week. But both weeks you're in Korea. It's just the first week you're doing World Camp, and then the next week you're going all over Korea and checking everything out and having a good old time.
Are you planning to go this summer?
I want to, but we just kind of have to see how it will work out.
Yeah, I have found it amazing.
How many Anglos are actually in the church?
Because I'm not actually a member of the church. I go for class, so I don't know. I do know a few times they've taken pictures of their Bible study or whatever that they had. They had a Bible study group in Albuquerque, like, when was it? It was in December. And it was actually mostly African immigrants at the Bible study, if I remember correctly.
Cool.
And that's also very interesting because there's stereotypes, especially in South Central LA, that Koreans and Black people hate each other. And I liked how Ivan was able to show that, no, that's not necessarily true, because he's serving a lot of Black immigrants at his church. But he does have a variety of different members in his church. He has some Hispanic members. He has quite a few Navajo members as well. He helped one girl in particular who had a huge drug problem. And by their Bible study focusing on mental health, it was able to help her get past that point, and she brought a few of her friends into the church too.
There you go. That's all you need, That is great.
Lauren, where do you think you're going to go with this? So, are you kind of just, how long have you been doing this? First of all, like, where are you in your journey?
I started in about 2021. I'm not rolling in cash. Don't I wish? It's been an uphill climb. I would love to have like a bigger studio space. I prefer to do my business online or just out at summer festivals and whatever, just because I'd be able to do it more on my own terms, as opposed to having a brick and mortar shop. There's a lot of drama that comes with that, especially in Albuquerque, where we have a huge problem with people looting other people's shops just for the sake of doing it.
Isn't that terrible?
Yes. And
but I think your clothes are very forgiving in size wise. So, if you don't get it in the exact size, it probably will fit.
Yes.
I think that you're not, the measurements aren't so strict, and your outreach is probably a little bit more international and a little more nuanced and niched. So you probably would be wasting your money on a brick and mortar in Albuquerque, where it's not really, it might get a few tourists interested, but I'd like to see you in San Francisco, LA, Orange County. We actually, in San Antonio, we have a big Korean population here. The newest thing is the Japanese Korean fusion restaurants.
Oh, cool.
We just went to one, actually. It's very good. You cook your food in a hot pot, and it's really good. My husband could not quit eating the hot sauce. I was like, dude, you're going to be sorry tomorrow.
But can you tell us about your outfit? Because I know we're up front in the camera. If you move back, you could tell us what your outfit is.
Yes.
She's got a cutting table there, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, ironing board.
Yeah.
I don't even see me very well, but yeah, I've got a satin top. I bought the satin from the thrift store. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong with the thrift store. You can find good stuff in there. I told people that, don't knock the thrift store. You can find good stuff in here. You can't see it very well, but at the bottom of my skirt, we got Hawaiian print.
Oh, that's pretty.
Which I got from Hawaii Fabric Mart, which is in the de facto Koreatown of Honolulu.
Ooh.
I used to get a lot of my fabrics from there, but as I told you, my budget kind of went. So I've started going to the thrift store quite a bit. But my favorite place to get fabric is Hawaii Fabric Mart, because you can take all the different Hawaiian fabrics and have a lot of fun with them. and make them into culturally relevant designs.
Have you checked the LA Fabric Mart? Because I know they have a Koreatown there, and I know that they have one of the biggest fabric marts. I've been there. It's
What's
amazing.
the name of it again, Jenny?
It's at the LA. It's next to the LA Flower Mart. It's the LA Fabric Mart.
I have.
It's not a good place to go downtown, but they probably have it online, and they've got. Oh my gosh, Lauren, the bolts stuff they have that they sometimes just give away because they can't sell it.
Oh,
A lot of the big they're sheer, but they have the flowers on it, like you're talking about, where you can do the trim. But check with them online. At the LA Mart is probably one of the biggest.
I will. I've never heard of them, but I'll give them a look.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on the thrift stores. There's some things that I need, and I go to thrift stores. When I pay $15, I pay for $1. So
Right.
hey, you know what? I don't knock it. My mother raised me on thrift stores, so you know it's good.
I like the repurposing. I think that's a really very cool way to reuse stuff. Are you thinking about branching out into like home goods type of things?
I have not thought about that.
I want to see you do a wedding outfit. I think that would be so.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
I love weddings, all kind of weddings, but I love all culture weddings, like different culture weddings. I would love to go to a wedding of every culture to be able to, see it, because they're all so different and so wonderful. I love, if I can, have one day enough money just to go to every country just to see the weddings, I would do it.
Yeah, that'd be really neat.
The Koreans have, so you're in a Christian Korean community.
Yeah.
But there's also the different. Is it more? What is their sect? Is it Buddhism? Is it?
So Korea is interesting because for a while the dominant religion was Buddhism, and then you had so that was during like the Three Kingdoms era, which was during the before Christ time up until about 900-ish AD, when they went to the Goryeo dynasty, which was still very much Buddhist. And then when they switched to the Joseon dynasty, which was the late 1300s up until the Japan occupation, which was 1910, they were more Confucianist, which isn't a religion. A lot of people think that it's a religion. It's more of a political philosophy with a lot of religious elements to it.
Right.
And then Christianity, it made its way through, and it appealed to a lot of the lower classes because with Confucianism, there was a very specific social order, and Christianity was like a way out, because with this specific social order you couldn't really move. It was similar to India's caste system, in which you were kind of like
stuck.
Unless there's some miracle of God, you were kind of like, you were stuck there. Korea nowadays, it's a little bit mixed, where you have Buddhism, you have a lot of atheism, and you also have Christianity. So it's a bit more mixed these days.
That's good. And that's a good intro to the word of today, because the word of today is live for today. That's the word today. It comes from Genesis 19:15-26. It says, but Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. And I know this story, they were burning Sodom and Gomorrah, and Lot and his wife, the Lord said, go and do not look back. Why did Lot look back? Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. And he couldn't go back there because then he'll look back, so he couldn't. But according to this, it says, my goodness, Lot went through a lot. When it came time for him to leave Sodom and Gomorrah, God gave him specific instruction. He was not to look back. No gazing at the past. Unfortunately, his wife disobeyed God's commands and turned back for one last glance. She paid the ultimate price with her life. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you've camped out in a place of unbelief and surrounded yourself with people who encourage you to live the wrong way. You've done your time in Sodom and Gomorrah, but now you have to regret. But now you have to regret you went out. God has a way of pulling you out of such places and seasons. When he does, you can count on him to say, don't look back. Don't let the past define you. Live for today. Take heart. There are better days ahead. Just keep looking forward and putting one foot in front of the other. And whatever you do, don't be tempted to glance back over your shoulder. So, what's the most precarious situation God has delivered you from? Aren't you glad you don't have to look back and go back to that? Which is good because it's true. We all came, and they say that the old life is part of the past, right? We lived our life. People are in a sinful life because they're doing still sinful. They're having fun, right? But they think that Christians don't have fun. Boy, do they got that wrong. I'm having fun every day. Anyway, so Christians, we have fun, but we don't live in that life anymore because, to be honest, I'm using myself as a testimony. That life didn't bring me anything but pain, sorrow, regret, hurt, um, depression, anxiety. I mean, it was the whole box. And after I gave up that life, that I said, I'm going to become whole in Christ. Now I'm still having fun, but with joy, having fun. And you're right, I never do look back. And I think that's a very good lesson. Live for today, because right now, what I see in you, Lauren, is the fact that you're living now. You don't let nothing stop you. Dress in your passion of what you're making, okay? And that gives you the courage to go face your fears, because other people would say, I'm not dressing like this. I'm not gonna do it. I'll make it, but I won't do it. They'll come and throw me with rocks, and this and that. But you face those fears, and you don't. And I noticed that you don't let fear stop you. Because how many times did you say in this show alone, I was nervous about this person, thinking about, oh my gosh, look what she's gonna do, but yet they turned out to be kind. And you was nervous when you went to Honolulu, but yet you got all people's attention and love from them. So that tells you you're in the right path. You're in the right path, doing what you need to do in your passion, creating your business. And you know what? We love different. J&J show is all about different. Okay. So we love people with different ambition and culture and craft, because this is not easy. And like the lady says, you're authentic. You take your time with your designs, and you're able to face your fears, not looking back or listening. This is very important. Or listening to the darts thrown at you saying, no, I'm afraid, or this is going to happen. You go, I don't care what they say. I am going to move forward. We have a comment. Hello, ladies, from Brenda. Oh, aka Miss Craft Princess. Hello, Brenda. She says hello, ladies. So that's what she said right now.
Okay.
The thing is that, here's the thing. You have something that people want. You're bringing back good memories, because the ancient times were a little bit, yes, they had war and everything, but they still stayed in their culture.
Yeah.
You would see the culture. Like, I remember a lot of Bruce Lee movies. When they would make the movies, you remember he would be in his gi, in his stuff, and everybody said, who do you think you are? And they made fun of they were picking on him, they were bullying him. So for you to stand up and say, this is my business, this is my passion, and I'm gonna move forward. I will not be afraid. I will move forward. And that is a blessing and a strength in its own. And that is, we love that. We love that. So that is my word for today. Live for today.
I think if you're going to apply it to crafters too, we talk about this all the time, is that you're going to, it's not an easy road, and it has to be a passion, has to be something you're interested in. And you pretty much can make a business out of anything if you've got the mind to it. And I guess the end of the question. So where do you think you're going to be
5 years from now?
Where are you trying to get to? Are you trying to get into a shop? Are you trying to get just more orders on the internet? What do you want to travel with this? What do you see yourself?
So there's a few things I want to do. I definitely want to get more orders in my shop. I mean, who doesn't? I'd like to be able to travel to Honolulu on a regular basis and be able to set up there and, do some selling at some of their shows. They have a kimchi festival, if I remember correctly. So I want to set up and sell there. I really want to do LA Korean Fest. And I told my husband, I don't care if that means I don't get to do any craft show ever this year, because LA Korean Fest is about $4,000 to set up. I said, I don't care if I don't get to do any other craft show. If I can do LA Korean Fest, that would be the very best, because I know I would reach a lot of people and I would probably do very well there. The price is a lot, but that's my end goal, is to get LA Korean Fest.
Can you share a booth with someone?
I don't know.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Let me ask you another thing.
Share a booth with someone, or maybe the church will help sponsor you.
That's what I was thinking.
You know what I was thinking?
Their literature with you.
I was thinking, are you willing to relocate? And this question is a lot on job applications. Are you willing to relocate somewhere where you can be successful and have your own blessing, where you're going to be selling, because a lot of Koreans are there and they're going to want to, do that. So are you willing to relocate for your business?
I am. My husband would be the tough sell. It's always the husband.
But you know what? The problem is too, is that like Albuquerque's standard of living is so much less expensive than LA.
Yes.
And Honolulu.
For sure.
The Korean actually area where in LA where that's at is, I think it's kind of where I think it is. There's a Humbly Hills. There's like a big wealthy area, and then there's an area that's not so wealthy.
Yes.
A lot of Koreans actually live outside of LA, and they drive in a lot from the valley. But maybe if you got a couple of, because the Southern California is so big, Lauren, from the San Fernando Valley north at the 118 all the way down into San Diego, because San Diego has a Korean, not as strong as LA and Orange County, but it's a very cool thing, and it's nice to see that people are actually accepting you. That's even the coolest thing. I think people are starting to realize that there's interest and joy in so many different, we have a gentleman that does the embroidery, and he's really into the African culture.
Yeah.
He does, I can't remember the name of it, I'll mispronounce it, but he does embroidery of their dress. The colors are so bright.
Oh yeah.
So he's really into that, and we're very happy that you're like at least having success. We hope you can really, check out San Francisco, check out LA, the Mart, the Korean community there as well. I want to say that we actually have there's a Korean congressperson in that area. It's always helpful to connect with like the Chamber of Commerce there and stuff, because they have maybe smaller events and stuff. And I just think you're doing it's very cool. I love the clothes; they're beautiful.
Yeah, they are.
They're really very feminine.
Yeah, before we leave, I'm gonna go ahead and take us to a commercial, and this is Society. We're sponsored by Society and Spark Up Biz. So I'll go ahead and show those commercials so you can.
These are two places that we've given to Lauren, so she can put her stuff there as well.
Yes, no problem. Here we go. We'll be right back.
Subsidity, you do really well there because it'll go straight to your website. They'll sell it. So they sell it, they pay you, and then it'll go to your website and you fulfill it.
Oh, okay.
And so they only charge, it's really not a lot for what they do. Charge a fee.
Good, because Etsy will take everything you've got.
Yeah, I stopped that already. I couldn't.
I mean, I still have one, but I don't sell anything on it, and it's I'm gonna move it to another website. But yeah, this guy is really good. The only good thing is about it, if you're a drop shipper, you know, you really don't want to carry all the inventory, but you create almost all of your inventory.
Yeah.
And then people will go to your website, and then they'll be able to see all your other products. And then if it's not on Society, you know, but yeah. So any last words? Anything you want to say? You want to say something like you can say goodbye in Korean? Because I won't know. You have to tell me.
All right. I'll say a couple of things. I'll say 감사합니다, which means thank you, and 안녕히 계세요, which means goodbye.
Oh, see,
okay, I can say
so
that.
everybody, check out Lauren at the Flower Realm. She's got some very good stuff. Her stuff is really beautiful. You know, handmade. This is an artisan we're talking about here, and check it out. Give her some love, and hopefully we're going to see her in other things. We always work with our Having Fun with J&J people, try to get her to do something else with us. We'll see.
Yep.
All right.
Green and buy, and then the show. The green one.
She told me I was not going to have to push a button. Now I'm back.
Oh.
So.
We got
my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. So I'm doing green,
right?
And I'm doing what?
The second goodbye.
I'm doing green, and then I'm doing the Having Fun end.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome.
All the best luck.
And everybody go visit Lauren at the Flower Realm, okay?
Yeah.
Bye, guys. And keep fingers crossed. Here we go.
Lordy. Here we go.